I do this thing called my cocoon where I'll throw a blanket over my head. It's so, I think it might have
She can stay like that for hours, no fresh oxygen
she's
coming
breathing
in
under there.
But she does it so that her warm breath can circulate around.
And sometimes it gets so cold. I have like Snapchat memories. It was like 3 a.m. I had to leave my bed to go to the bath and slowly warm my toes. And it had to be warm water because the hot water was burning my
I'm Ilona. I'm Olivia.
I'm Adrianna, and today
This is the House of Dre. Happy birthday, Dre.
Hey guys, thank you so much.
Happy birthday, my girl.
Yeah, and welcome back to House of Maher. Bathroom is down the hall if you need it. It is seashell themed. The Wi-Fi password is Marbob, of course. Feel free to rock one if you want to as well. This is a Wave original presented by the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra.
Woo! I feel like we need to explain Dre, though.
Dre.
The nickname.
Dre baby.
Dre baby, because obviously your name is Adrianna. We know this. We love this. Where do you, or I guess what's your first recollection of us calling you Dre baby?
I don't think you're gonna like this answer, actually. It was one of your like high school boyfriends, and I remember he called me Dre. Ooh. And like that was the first time I think I like, maybe it was because it was more of a stranger who called me Dre that I was like, Dre.
One of her high school boyfriends.
This is literally not true, though. I came up with that nickname.
I don't know. I think it could be. Keep going,
It was the guy who did flips.
I know who it is.
Maybe it wasn't a boyfriend, but it was the guy who does flips.
It was never a boyfriend.
Okay, sorry. But I remember he called me.
Y'all.
I know you.
I don't remember any of that.
Anyway, I just remember he called me Dre once.
Out, dude. You blacked that out.
And then I was like, that's weird. And then I remember that was just a nickname from then on. But I know your side of the story is that you coined it. And I give you credit for it. I was maybe too young to remember. Sorry.
I literally gave birth to that nickname.
Okay, what's your side of the story?
That I flowed with that. I come up with a gazillion nicknames for her, and Dre came out of me once for you, Adrianna. I shortened it to Dre, and then Dre baby just sounded the best.
Yeah.
And then people that I saw, romantically or otherwise, whether I remember them or not, then picked up on that and started using that as well. What?
I was just the first time I remember being called Dre.
No, guys, my worldview
I
just
guess I'll be
shifted
the
on its
peacekeeper
axis.
here.
Yeah, play peacekeeper.
That could be right. I know because you come up with a lot of nicknames, like a lot of nicknames for me. I don't remember you coming up with Dre, but I can imagine you having done that.
It sounds like an Olivia thing.
I do remember the guy like in a fun way saying that once, and I was like, "What is he saying?"
Interesting.
But you probably said it and he heard it.
Huh.
Believe women, of course.
No, like first and foremost, I'm
gonna
feeling
believe that.
I've always given you credit.
But it was fake credit, so
But I do think it's kind of messed up how I only got Dre and Ilona has every nickname under the sun.
it's hard work, Adrianna. Like where to go from there?
There's
one
three
time
A's in that.
One time, one of your friends called you Audie.
And
that was not cool
hated
with me.
that. I hated
in
that.
my bones, I hated that.
No, I had to shut that down, actually.
Audie.
Well, one person could call me Odd, and that's our cousin.
Odd.
Becca. Becca calls me Odd. And
Why?
it's
Okay, fine.
Adrianna. So it just like came Odd.
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 It's because we call you her.
Yeah.
Have we already talked about this, that we call you Adrianna?
I don't know. Not here.
Okay, so
Do it now.
Here's the thing, guys.
Listen up.
Olivia and I believe with our deep in our souls, Adrianna is Adrianna to us. If you hear us call her Adrianna, we're only allowed to say that. That's only us that we get to say that.
Do not say that.
What she prefers is Adrianna. And even Olivia and I have to check ourselves.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I'm trying to be better, but it doesn't feel right coming off my tongue when I say Adrianna.
I remember that I chose Adrianna at a young age.
She chose it.
Because I was getting that question a bunch in like elementary school. Is it Adrianna? Is it Adrianna? And my elementary school brain was, Adrianna sounds less American. Sounds a little bit more Dutch, maybe.
Sounds
I don't
cool.
know if it was truly like, that's, has anything to back it up. But I just chose Adrianna and went with it.
How do you feel when you say that?
Adrianna, I feel like I'm lying to myself and everyone around me.
You
It
can call
feels
me Adrianna.
So wrong. I think I just said it to my best friend actually, who's only ever heard me call you Adrianna, and I feel like
I'm
she
trying to be
paused
better.
quickly. She was kind of like, "What?"
Actually, one time a
Trying to be
friend
better.
caught on. I was FaceTiming, I think you or something. And after I hung up, she was like, why do they call you Adrianna? And I was like, you've picked up on that? Wow.
Because your name's Adrianna.
Because
We're gonna
answered
call you what we want.
Well, how does Dad say your name?
I think he says Adrianna. And then Mom says it with like the Dutch. Like Adrianna. And I'm like, I'll take that too.
So mom says Adrianna.
Because she says it with a bit of an accent.
Yeah, a little.
So
Anywho, that's
bit of spice.
Thank you for clearing
guys,
that up.
if you're listening and you do see her, call her Adrianna.
Don't
Don't
call her
listen to these two
Adrianna.
nitwits here saying it wrong our whole life.
Well, we switch up what we call you.
You can call me many
Ilona,
things. I'm still
Ilona.
not sure.
Alona, Lola, Loli,
Lolita,
Noni, Pony,
Noni, no.
Winona. No.
Sometimes actually when
Lolo.
you're playing, I often say no for you. Like, no. I'll just shout no when you have the ball and it sounds wrong.
Yeah, that's my pony girl right there.
Pony girl.
Olivia's made up some weird nicknames for me. So it's Ilona. My dad calls me Noni, but Olivia goes Ilona, loner, got boner out of that.
Noner.
So she calls
Stoner.
me boner sometimes. What else? There's just like
Bone.
erroneous
Stone.
ponius.
Erroneous ponius. God, that's a good one. That's a fan favorite.
Always different, and I will respond to pretty much anything.
Really well.
As long as there's like a vowel in there, she's turning her head.
I think it's the O. If you get that O in there, I'm like, huh?
Yeah, first time I came down to San Diego and met all of your new friends and teammates, I think I had a new thing that I called you at every turn, and like Nicole was so confused, right?
Yeah, it's a confusing name, but and also for me, my name, like, it's supposed to be Ilona, which is the right way to say it, and I had a lot of people saying it that way, but it's not. It doesn't feel spiritually me.
No.
I'm Ilona or Ilona.
Ilona.
You've been calling me Ilona sometimes.
Ilona. I call Ilona
Really
or
chewing on
Ilona.
that.
Yeah. So Ilona.
Olivia, anything clever about your name?
Right.
Unique?
No.
Recently, people have been calling her Livy more.
Oh, yeah.
Just like to her
Oh.
face, which
I
how do you
understand.
feel? Do you resonate with that?
No, I get it. Like, at first, like, my fight or flight kicks in, and it's just fight right away because Livy is what my family calls me. Like, Mom, Dad, you guys, like, Dad calls me Livy Divvy. Like, that's such a family name. But when, you know, the apps came around and I had to make a username for the first time, Olivia Maher was taken.
What?
So I went, oh, this is fun. It's, you know, the year of our Lord and Savior, 2009. And I, like, made an account, or what? No, 2013. I think I made my
Like
first
2009,
account.
what were you doing?
Yeah, no, I didn't have. I don't even think I had an
AOL at that time?
I don't think I even had a smartphone at the time. But I couldn't make Olivia Maher my username, so I was like, oh, I'll just use my nickname. Cute. Like, how relevant will this account actually be? So
stuck
I
with
put in
you.
Livy Maher, and now people on the street, or when they see Ilona and then they clock me, they go, Livy! And I'm like, you don't know me like that. Like, and I forget that that is how they know me, like from the internet. But yeah, it's Olivia.
Recently, we got something where it was our initials. You tell it.
Yeah, we got sent some wonderful jewelry. It was very sweet of them, and it's engraved on the front, so customized. And it has on the back, like each person's name. So I have Adrianna on the back, but then on the front, it's A-I and then L.
For Livy.
Right.
Livy.
I'm still
I'll
going to wear it. I'm going to wear it. That's
You're
kinda
now
funny.
Livy.
That's who she's becoming.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
becoming Livy.
Yeah.
It's your stage name.
That's my stage name. That's my alter ego.
Do we think all our names fit us? Are you and Olivia?
I think so. Weirdly.
Yeah, you fit in, Olivia.
Yeah. Because it's basic, but not. And that's
Our
me.
parents tell the story of when they were naming Olivia. They were like, "This is gonna be the coolest name. Nobody's gonna have this. Is
This
niche.
is gonna be unique.
This is cool."
This is cool.
I think that year was like the 5th most popular baby name or something
Yeah.
like that. So they got Olivia, and then they went with mine. Mine's a little bit unique, and then Olivia and
Yours is
Ilona.
incredibly unique. There's not a lot of Ilonas out there.
Very unique. Adrianna, though, we were just all laughing about how...
Adrianna, Olivia.
No,
It's
thank
Adrianna.
you. Thank you for
Of
keeping me on it. Adrianna actually has like 3 boy names made into girl names.
Right.
I was the last kid, so they had to get every relative possible. So I got both our grandfathers, so Adrianna, Sometimes I do wish that they just kept it as Adrian.
It's interesting. It's Adrian.
Adrian.
I find that interesting. Real interesting.
Funny how that works.
It's actually Adrian.
Oh, it's Adrian. Interesting. Okay. Keep going.
And then our other grandfather, Frederick. So my middle name is Frederica. And then I have another middle name, Johanna, for my mom's uncle, Johan.
So people are like, hey, Adrianna, what's your middle names? You gotta
I actually
go, like,
love it. I love when someone asks me for my middle name. I'm so annoying.
How do you say it?
Adrianna Frederica Johanna Maher.
Oh, God.
Say it again.
Adrianna Frederica Johanna Maher. It rolls off the tongue nicely once you like memorize it.
Is Frederica truly a girl's name? Like, or did they make that up? But there are girls
Did they
named
just slap an A
Frederica.
on there?
I feel like Frederica is a real thing.
Frederica?
Growing up,
I
I'd call you
kinda
Freddie,
love
and
it.
you didn't like that.
Well, that probably felt like passive aggressive from you. That's why. Because you also, I remember you guys calling me Fred, and I was like,
Yeah, you hated that one too.
not Fred.
But now it's kind of cool.
I
It's kinda
know.
cool. You're welcome.
We were talking about this recently. I love my middle names. They're really
You're
cool.
very cool.
I think
Yeah.
they could be really fun first names as well.
Our mom and dad famously gave us 2 middle names each.
Try figuring that out for passports.
Yeah,
God.
government
Do I
documents
put
and
both
stuff.
my middle names? Do I put my first middle name?
Are they gonna be mad at me at a border because I didn't put the second one? I don't know.
If you want one initial, do you want the other initial?
Yeah.
Like,
They actually wanted to name Olivia Gemma,
Gemma.
like the Dutch Gemma, but it's spelled Gemma. And my mom was like, nope, the Americans are going to call her Gemma.
Yeah, someone was like, "You're gonna name her Gemma." She's like, "No."
I
won't do that.
I call you Gemma sometimes, especially when I want your attention.
I
Yeah,
get
you
called that
call
when
her-
I'm in
yeah,
trouble.
That's when you say that too.
Yeah.
Gemma. You get annoyed.
Mom does it when I'm in trouble. She says Gemma Elizabeth, which is my Gemma Elizabeth. And Gemma Elizabeth is the American pronunciation, but that's what I get called when I'm in trouble with our mom's accent, though. So it's very scary.
It's coming in now. Frederica, the name means peaceful ruler in Germanic.
What?
Peaceful ruler.
How did they know?
That's why you're in the throne today, both for your birthday and
Because
the
you're such a
peaceful
peaceful
ruler.
ruler,
Such a peaceful
over this
ruler.
kingdom, over this
I know. I feel
house.
powerful in this chair.
Do you think you're the most peaceful among all of us?
Who?
Her. No. In my personal life, maybe not. But I think in my greater morals, that's where I'm gonna stop.
Okay, I hear that.
Okay.
In her morals, maybe she is.
Yes, yeah.
And like my ideals.
She didn't have boyfriends in high school like so over
guys.
here.
She did see guys who did flips and then didn't remember it to this day.
While Olivia was going through the trials of high school, I was knee deep in middle school. One time I was the 8th most popular girl in the middle school.
She's got rings. She's got like the Thanos' rings of popular girls.
Well, what was the key is when those 2 girls moved away.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So you were made it by default? Okay.
I made top 10 by default.
Top 10 popular girl by default.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I strived for 3 years, and by the end of it, the girls had moved away. I had bonded with the popular girls because of how mean they were. So I was kind of let in.
How did you bond with them? Were you mean too?
No. We were just bullied.
Bullied.
I was not a bully.
You're the bulliers. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So I've talked about this before with her of like, I heard they were going to the indoor water park. And I really weaseled my way into that trip. And at that wonderful day at the water park, we were like leaving the place, and I have my iPod Touch with me, and I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, and I start getting these messages from like this like mean girl being like, "And why did you tell her that I didn't like her?" and yada yada yada. And I had never said a thing. But luckily, I was with these girls who had all dealt with this before, and so they were all looking at my phone, being like, "Yeah." It's happened to us too. It was a real bonding
Trauma
moment.
bonding.
love that.
Now this weaseling your way into places, how do you feel this has helped you in your current life of, fundraising and politics? And
It's a talent. You have to learn how to put yourself into the situation, because oftentimes people aren't going to be like, come on.
yeah.
Because I was a little weird. And so just speaking up for yourself, learning how people work, learning the insides of their minds. And that's what's led me to success. But actually, one thing when it comes to like work and fundraising and stuff, I've actually learned this from you, is I kind of put on a character almost.
Okay. It's not that funny.
Well, it's just,
What's that mean?
when it's like you're performing for people.
Okay.
You're kind of doing the da, like
Yeah, right.
you know what's gonna work best. You're razzle dazzling them.
Feel razzle-dazzle.
And so I've learned, and like I started doing it in college, of like it's me, but to like the nth degree. Like I'm really putting on a performance, like, and you know it. You know when you put on that like mask.
Why is this so funny to Ilona?
It was that one time when we were talking about like our flaws.
Oh my god. No, we got to give some context to that. We were having a sister video call, and we were like, what's one thing about each other that we might not notice, but the others, like other people definitely do. That's not for the faint of heart. Don't do that unless you are prepared mentally, physically, spiritually,
Emotionally.
metaphysically. Yeah, which
For you, we said what Adrianna is kind of saying, that sometimes Olivia wants people to always be having fun and to feel good about themselves. So sometimes she'll adjust to fit the room. Like if the room's down, Olivia will go like above and beyond to make people happy, to make people laugh. And she does it even with like me, you know, like when I'm down and I'm around a group, she'll make sure she's out there so everyone feels comfortable. So sometimes she puts on, I guess what you could call a character, but it's like Olivia, but just like times to the max in a way to make other people really feel good.
sorry, my crime is caring too much.
Sorry, dog.
Hey, if that's the worst thing about you, Olivia,
Yeah,
that's
right?
pretty good.
And then for you, Adrianna.
no, when it got to me, they were really quick with it. You
did
guys
he
had your
say?
answer ready to go.
What did he say?
I think it was know it all.
Well, you know why we said that though? Because somebody once told you that.
Who told me that?
Your friends once in New York said that to you. It's not that Adrianna knows so much, and I'm talking a lot, but maybe you answer this.
No, I mean, like, you are very smart.
No, I mean like you're a know-it-all.
No, like, you don't shut the fuck up. No, but you are also our father's daughter. We all are, and like, we know a lot about a lot, and we're very good at knowing when somebody's wrong about something, and we can't let that go.
No, I can't. My opinion has to be heard because it's often right.
You never
I
let
have to-
something go even if you're wrong. Like, it's admirable.
I can say when I'm wrong.
Okay.
I've gotten better at admitting it.
Okay.
But I also just love sharing the stuff I know.
I just love doing stuff I know.
It's so fun. And if that's the worst thing about me, so be it.
Yeah, right?
You know? I'll be a know-it-all.
Damn. I think mine comes from like feeling so uncomfortable and awkward and like for so long, you know? And not, I guess, like stepping into my so corny, but like power, and like I don't want anybody else to feel that way. So I just try to like, and it's kind of detrimental to my own energy, like burning the candle at both ends. But I just want to make sure everyone around me feels comfortable and happy and like in any environment, and to know that like I'm a safe place. I'm chill. I'm cool. It's okay. Like we can, you know, so.
That's probably an oldest sister thing, oldest daughter thing though too.
What do we say for you?
Probably nothing. Probably perfect.
There's the moods.
We don't have to talk about that
We
anymore.
talked about that already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so we'll just-
it's the moods, and you guys know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So you know that. And my mama has told me I need to work on them.
Has she?
Well, I told mama I need to work on them, and she's like, yeah, you do need to work on them. And she's like, you need to start doing more workouts to help your mind space. And I was like, you're right.
Maybe some mental workouts too.
Oh, some
Nah.
mental gymnastics.
Okay.
All about the physical.
Right.
That's me.
Just the stronger your arms get, the stronger your brain will be.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what they're
exactly
saying.
That's exactly what I think.
Right.
Does anyone have any like flaws personally they're trying to work on?
Nope.
Couldn't think of one.
No, actually, I think I'm good.
Not a one. No, what am I trying to work on? Shaving my legs more often, probably.
Right. Wow.
It's getting away
And
from me.
your
Something needs to happen down there for sure. I literally I was about to text Bree to be like, can you send me the link for that at-home laser kit, please?
For your birthday, you're getting a laser away from the body.
When we got back from England, I was like, we need to have a major life change. Like, we need to
that's at
lock
Motel
in.
6, man.
What'd you say?
That's at Motel 6.
It's your shag carpet at the Motel
That
6.
shag carpet they need to switch out on. Okay, Adrianna, anything you gotta work on?
I need to stop hyperfixating.
Okay.
Oh, on what?
This week is
my sty. Don't zoom in. I swear to God.
She put in contacts for all of you guys.
And I'm
so I hope
taking them
you
out
are-
right after.
Yeah.
It has consumed me, actually. And I will say, being fun employed doesn't help. Because I had a week between Bristol and here that I was just in New York. And all I had to do was fixate on this sty.
I mean, you and I both have a bit of hypochondria. What? Deep within us, which having a nurse mother helps and also does not help.
No, because actually, whenever I have a concern, and it might be a little bit more valid than other times, she's still like, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine. And I'm like, can you look at it though?
Can you?
I was just telling people though, everyone's like, oh, as a nurse, like, do you help people? I was like, no, the biggest thing is just give them fake confidence.
Oh yeah, you were saying that.
Like if you ask me like, oh, does this look scary? I'm like, no, it's fine.
Oh yeah,
And then they're like, okay. Okay, good.
Don't go to Ilona, right?
Yeah.
right.
But most of the time with you guys, at least, there are times when you get a little bit
That's not true.
dramatic about, not dramatic is the word, but like, I guess hyper fixated or like very cautious of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that it's probably nothing, but your brains can't think of it. So to me, I'm like, that's fine. If you can just give them that confidence, that is fine.
Oftentimes I know that I'm going a little like off the rails with it, but I just can't reel it back.
Right.
So that's what I'm working on is my hyperfixating of like just, and I've actually been working on this for a while, so it's gonna take me some more time.
I dig it. Ilona, what are you hyperfixating on? What
I'm
do you
not
work on?
fixing. Oh, my working on my moods thing. Still getting better at that.
We're making grand strides.
Grand strides.
Well, I wasn't scared at all this morning, actually.
Shaking in Monday and boots.
I don't really know how to get better at it. I mean, maybe it is talking to somebody and talking to a therapist, something like that. In a way, it sometimes feel very like aware. Like I know that it's not like people were like, they don't understand it. Like I know I'm in it and I know I'm doing it. I'm like, I know that it's happening. So what's somebody going to tell me? You know what I'm
It's
saying?
not about telling you. It's about like unpacking and working through it, I think.
It's probably exercises to get you out of it.
Yeah. And not just exercise, which is one way of dealing with things, sure. But
I guess so.
okay.
I think I'm thinking about just like trying to settle everything and like when I go back to San Diego, when I do this, and because I go back to San Diego and I have 3 days, and then how do I unpack my stuff? Do I leave it in bags? How am I even going to get everything down there? How do I pack for this? How do I pack for that? I'm doing this. So I think I'm just thinking about all that because it's just been so busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I don't have one thing to hyperfixate on. Like in a way, John, as you're saying, like, oh, you don't have a job. So like, it's like one thing. Whereas me, I'm like, God, I got to think about this. Then it's like my brain almost just like jumps too fast at things, even instead of like focusing on one thing,
Mm-hmm.
which I think there's good and positives to like both that needs to be fixed.
Yeah. Where it's like, but you do have so much like external clutter. I imagine the internal
Yeah,
clutter of your
right.
brain is going crazy.
And I have a very small apartment.
Yeah.
So
That closet's already maxed
that
out.
closet is already maxed out and I have a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And we already gave away a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we gotta,
So that really is like, oh man, how's it going to fit in my room, in my place?
it's a challenge I'm willing to accept.
Right.
I love
I'll
cleaning
take some stuff off your hands. Don't even worry about it.
Right.
Perfect.
I'm like, don't give anything away until I get to look at it.
Let me look at every little piece that you have in there. Gosh.
No, that's fair though. That's fair.
You ever take a picture and think, wait, why does this look nothing like real life? Been there. But with my Galaxy S25 Ultra, what I see is actually what I get.
The 200 megapixel camera means I can zoom in way after the fact and see all the details. The new 50 megapixel ultra wide lens, it's Samsung's highest resolution ultra wide lens yet. So I get the entire picture with more detail than ever before. Full scene, full clarity.
And my favorite, nightography. I can actually take great photos even in low light. Concerts, nights out, city skylines, and it gets it right. Plus, I can create iconic videos in a tap using instant slow-mo with Galaxy AI. It lets me slow down the action of my recorded videos so I can make a fan cam of Ilona on the field. I have the ability right on my phone.
And you know, we always tell people about content creation, just post it. Whether it's getting the perfect latte art photo, exploring a new city, or just clowning around with the girls, the camera on S25 Ultra helps you get a gorgeous image without having to spend time retouching. Basically, my S25 Ultra lets me spend more time having fun, but taking pictures of it all is easier than ever. Disclaimer, instant slow-mo available only with videos saved in the Samsung Gallery app, recorded up to 4K at 60 frames per second, not available with HDR 10 plus videos. Galaxy AI features by Samsung are free through 2025 and require Samsung account login.
Speaking of tiny apartments, I actually live in a 2-bedroom with a roommate. We are not just House of Dre, House of Maher. We are also the House of Roommates.
Wow. And I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that you have a roommate.
I live way below my means. Good. Like exceedingly below my means. I found this girl on Facebook Marketplace. No, a Facebook group chat for like ladies looking for roommates in San Diego. And this was what I didn't like before Tokyo, actually. So I hadn't even gotten to the sponsorship and everything like that. I didn't even, my TikTok hadn't exploded yet. So I was a female athlete in rugby. Wasn't making a lot of money. So I kept
in the United States of America.
Yeah. So I kept my kind of monthly, how much I could do very low. I think it was like, I wanted it around 700, 800, which would be crazy now. You'd find only a hovel. Is that a word, hovel?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hovel.
Yeah,
you only find a hovel for that. So I found this great girl in San Diego, and I went and met her. It was a 2-bedroom, like tiny place, but really walkable area. And this was before I went to Tokyo. I had to be out of my place before I got back from Tokyo. And so I think I slayed that interview, charmed the pants off her, I would assume. And she invited me to be a roommate. And so then as I got back from Tokyo, I'm depressed. It's so hot. I have to move all of my stuff to this new apartment. And I have just an air mattress and all my stuff everywhere. I didn't have furniture for a while. I slept on an air mattress for a while. But I've turned this kind of home into now where I've been for 3 years because I haven't moved because continuously my finances like change or whatnot. I definitely make more money than I did, pre-Tokyo. But I still kind of like wasn't sure because it was based on deals. So sometimes you get a big deal, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're in a really dry period. But she's been amazing. I barely see her. We very much so cohabitate in just a very respectful manner.
Beautiful way.
I mean, they barely know her. One time she had a meal with us.
Yeah. I feel like I know her pretty well, actually.
She's very nice. Yeah, she's very nice. But what we're both good at is like we both have different lives. And everyone asks me like, oh, did you live with some of your teammates? And I was like, I see them for hours a day. I don't want to have to go home and see them as well. So I made sure to live with somebody not in my team because also I want my business to be my business. I don't want you asking where I'm going. I want to just go. I want to do shady stuff.
Right,
not really.
Right.
But if I did feel like I need to do shady stuff just in case.
Right.
She is very chill. We kind of just respect the space. I'm not a very passive aggressive person. So like one time I moved a plant to a table. And then she moved it back the next day, and I was like, heard loud and clear. I hated
Looks
it there,
better
too.
over there, for sure.
Heard. I hated it there. And I just kind of go with it. So we just work out like right now. And honestly, I'm probably the best roommate for her. I haven't been there for a half a year.
It's a storage unit.
She's living her best life. And then I'm going to go back for maybe 4 days, and then I'm leaving again for like 10 more weeks. So
are you going to warn her that you're
crazy.
coming back for those 4 days?
I will warn her. Yeah. She'll be fine. And she's very like chill about it. But there's no washer dryer. No AC. My room is west facing too. Oh, God. In the summertime,
Not the coordinates.
in the summertime, my room can get hot.
Greenhouse.
And I haven't bought an AC yet for 3 years. I have
She'll
not
have
bought an
like
AC.
3 fans ripping
I'll
in there
have 3
instead of
fans
an AC.
ripping, fully nude. But I refuse to buy an AC right now because I'm like,
You're in too deep. You've done
I'm
3
in too
summers.
deep. So now I'm like, I can't buy another one. I keep thinking I'm going to move too. And I just like, no, I'm not. So
You just like it there. It
I love
works
it
for
there.
you.
It's very tiny though.
Yeah.
Great roommates.
Great roommate. It's hard to find a great roommate like that. Like you're afraid to let it go.
I've only ever lived with roommates. I've never really lived with friends. Well, like I've become friends with roommates. Like especially in college, like my freshman year, I had an amazing suite and then an amazing roommate. And then we all would hang out and, like outside. We'd go to the dining hall, do college stuff. But since moving to New York, I had a sublet for 1 month. And then I immediately found this place. And it was a thing of, they were interviewing like 30 girls and somehow I got it.
Nice.
And to this day, I still don't know why. Because I think I was 22 at the time during this interview, and they were both 28. And so like at that age, I think those are pretty like wider gaps. And I knew that they were like interviewing a bunch of girls, probably like closer to them, like age wise. But I was the lucky winner. And I was so thankful because it was incredibly cheap. When I got that apartment in 2022, it was $890 a month.
Wow.
In Manhattan.
That's crazy.
But describe your apartment.
Oh.
Describe your room.
So
for us.
Ilona's west facing. Mine is a 7th layer of hell. Zero sunlight. Sunlight. The room I had was a classic New York shoebox where there was a window, but it was an air shaft window. So you got 5% natural light in there. And I worked from home. So it really was a hellscape. I remember like my first winter in there, I called Olivia and I was like, yeah, I don't think that this is like seasonal depression. I think that this is just depression actually. And she was like, yeah, really?
Yeah, you think?
Oh.
And I came to visit one time and I was like, so where do I put my bag? Like there was just no room
Hallway.
for that. Yeah.
No. Luckily, I have moved out of that room. One of my roommates got married, moved out. And so I took her room for a little bit of a pay bump, or price bump, but not that much. And that one is almost too much sunlight. So I've gone from like really extremes. Like I'll have to close my shades at like 3 p.m. because the sun is just hitting way too much. Which is a blessing in New York. So I found it off Facebook. The other roommate that we've since had to find, we also found on Facebook, and we've been very lucky. Like we all get along really well. And like, although we don't see each other outside of the apartment, we are friends in the apartment. Like my roommates know so much about my life. Like they're like, oh, that's that person you don't really like, right? And I'm like, how do you remember that? And like bringing up old stuff where like I've forgotten about it. And so it's very interesting, and like it's a wonderful housing situation, you know, like I don't feel the pressure of living with friends, you know, because that's going to maybe extend into your life outside of the apartment and ruin the friendship. But I just instead have great like roommates.
Well, when I lived in New York City, I lived in a 4-bed. So 3 roommates plus myself, no living room, just a bathroom and a kitchen, singular bathroom. That was like a wild time, but also like such a New York City. Like it was a moment in time, you know? It didn't seem crazy to me because I was like just moved to the city. I was young, out of college, and it just seemed like, yeah, that's what you do when you move to New York City. And I was there for a bunch of years because it was a great price and a great area, like close to transportation and amazing food over in Astoria. I loved it. But now I look back on it and I'm like, whoa, I was doing that. That's crazy. But like it had to be done, and I'm glad for it.
4 roommates, 4 people, 1 bathroom.
Crazy.
And you also had a male roommate too. I remember that freaked me out because I was I think I was like 19 the first time I visited, and I was like, she's living with a guy.
man lives here?
A strange man. And it's not like you guys were friends.
No,
it wasn't a new girl situation
No,
at all.
he was lovely. Like, and like a lot of them, they all traveled for work and stuff too. So it was a classic New York City situation.
Yeah.
But I guess we get into some roommate debates. What do you guys think? What is an unethical thermostat level? Like, what should that be kept at?
My place doesn't have a thermostat.
Right.
No joke.
Right.
It doesn't even have heating.
Doesn't it have heating?
No, my place doesn't have heating either.
There's a heating unit in the hallway, though. It
doesn't work, man. Does not work.
Oh
my place
God.
have AC heating. We have a dishwasher.
Whoa.
But I've tried to turn the heat on. I think it's for show, that little knob.
Right.
I'm freezing. Sometimes my place can get real cold and then
Energy
it gets real
efficient.
hot.
Just the extremes. Okay.
So, yeah.
So say there were a thermostat and you could keep it at something.
I couldn't even tell you. I'm out on my knowledge of thermostats and what's a good temperature. I would say for AC, like I know some people like a 69.
Hey.
Whoa.
But that's just but that's just like a thermostat temp. Like one of my teammates always has it at 69.
Who is it? Say
Lauren Doyle.
Name the freak.
Lauren Doyle loves
Doyle.
69. Is that too cold? Is that too cold of a temperature?
No.
I
think-
do. I live like a 68.
Wow. When we're home in
Who's
Vermont.
paying the bills, dog?
Me.
Wow.
Wow, when we're home in Vermont, I'll put the heat on at 71.
when it's winter.
Yeah, when it's
You gotta
winter.
be- yeah.
That's heat? I don't know how heat works.
But I will say, New York,
Most educated among us.
I am.
we have no control over the heat.
Yeah, that's Dad's domain.
And actually, I tested it out because it was getting so hot in our apartment this year. And my roommate had a little, it was like a little portable thermostat, I guess. Because she was like, it's so hot. And she put it in her room. And it was like, I think hers was like 85 or something. And I was like, I can beat you. Because with my windows and the sun coming in, and I also have a pole, the loudest pole you'll ever hear.
Oh, like a hot water pole for your apartment.
I shut all my windows because I have to keep my window perpetually open in the winter because it's so hot. It's still open to this day. And I close everything, open the drapes all the way, close my door, let it cook.
Right.
And it got up to 93 degrees.
What?
That's crazy. But there's a meme out there that we shared with each other where it was like, the hottest summer I ever spent was in a pre-war apartment in New York City in the winter or something like that.
And that's my everyday.
Speaking of that, though, you know what that's like? Our house in Vermont.
Yeah. Your room specifically.
Our room's in Vermont.
Yeah.
So my room in Vermont can get aggressively warm in the winter.
Because it's the first place that the heat
oh
reaches.
my gosh, it gets hot. I'm opening windows in the winter. I have my door open.
Mom and Dad had to install that little fan in the corner to like crank air out of there.
And then Adrianna's it gets no heat.
Because by the time, because it's hot water right through the radiators or whatever it is, it hits Ilona's room first, and then it's cooled off by the time it reaches
I'm the
Adrianna's
last room on
Tell
the
them what you
circuit.
do sometimes. You cocoon yourself and let your hot go.
Well, I think actually that habit might have stemmed from that. I do this thing called my cocoon, where I'll throw a blanket over my head. It's so, I think it might have
She can
stemmed.
stay like that for hours, no fresh
I don't know how
oxygen
she's
coming
breathing
in.
under there.
But she does it so that her warm breath can circulate around.
Sometimes it gets so cold. I've like Snapchat memories. It was like 3 a.m. I had to leave my bed to go to the bath and slowly warm my toes. And it had to be warm water because the hot water was burning my nose.
Oh my god.
She has like a space heater in there.
Yeah, she's got a space heater pointed at her face.
It's so
She's
cold.
There's also like she is a bed rotter at times. So she
My birthday episode.
my birthday episode. She's like she's just cocoon. You go and like wake her up.
You gotta wake her up and you gotta like peel back the layers of
The moist one.
And she's just been using her breath to keep her warm under there.
Glasses
It's
just
like
up.
moist. But she's like petrified into a solid frozen state.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh. It's also because I think that's like technically an addition. Wasn't that like built on?
Yeah.
So like the heat doesn't probably get over there. And then my room, perfectly temperatured.
It's like Goldilocks.
I'm literally Goldilocks, but it's also because my room is closest to the actual thermostat. So if my door is closed and the heat stays in there, it's not getting out and the thermostat isn't registering it. So then it just keeps cranking hotter stuff into Ilona's room. So I couldn't sleep with my door closed. But our dad is also definitely one of those dads who can like sense when there's been a change, when someone's touched the thermostat. And he'd be like, come here, I'll tell you, if you need it to touch this thing, come here, I'll show you how to do it. You listen. And you turn it a little bit. Do you hear that click? You hear that click? That's the heat coming on. That's it. Stop. Don't do it anymore. That's if he lets you touch it. Wow. Classic dad.
He now lets me change it. I think because
really?
I've complained so much and he just knows what I've been through in
He's
that
been
room.
nicer about it.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
has.
chiller about it. Like
Yeah.
I'll go take a bath downstairs. He's like, turn that thermostat up. Make sure it's hot when you get out of there. It's
Why
like,
don't you treat yourself?
okay, sure.
God.
Oh my god, I'm like a princess
Are
in
you
this
getting tax
castle.
credits for something
Oh my
or
god, I
what?
turned 3 degrees. Like this is living.
You got money now? Okay.
I am confused though. So 68 degrees is like cold. How is 71 like warm?
That's just like I think like a livable temperature.
Oh, that's like chilled. It's not like really heat.
No, it's just like a
just chill
normal. But
temperature.
like in the winter, when it's really cold outside, you can just have it at that 70s to be like
Right.
a normal temperature.
Okay, makes sense.
I think that's just like a normal. You're always
Yeah.
trying to make it around there.
Do you think sisters are better roommates than randos or friends?
Probably.
I have an idea.
Do you have an idea?
Please share.
Please.
Because you've
Go
now
after
lived
it.
with Olivia as an adult.
We live together well, but I also like my anonymity,
Anonymity.
or like my ability to just do what I want.
I'm not stopping you from that.
Well, you want to know everything that I'm doing though, but
Duh.
that's a sister thing. Like
Because you like to be mysterious sometimes.
I love to just like go out.
She likes to slink off.
I like to slink off
Like this too.
like not even tell y'all where I'm going. They have my location tracking, so I already feel like I feel like the eyes of them are watching me wherever I go. But I love that I can just leave with my roommate and she doesn't care where I'm going. I don't have to tell her when I get back where I've been.
Again, sorry my crime is caring too much.
I have gotten to the point where I ask my roommate sometimes. Because
Really?
I'm curious. And I'm like, where are you going?
Yeah. Because you're so entwined in each other's lives.
Yeah.
It's also just nice to know.
And I'm also like, I'm curious. Are you going to your salsa dancing? Are you going to CrossFit? Like, what am I going to hear about later?
cool.
Yeah.
So
Love
you
that.
like friends or randos? Oh.
Sisters, friends, randos?
Sisters, friends, randos.
Since we are so close, I do think we live together well. Like when we're at home, like at Christmas and things like that, I'd put you guys above. I do think it comes with its maybe more challenges, but I think it might be more rewarding. And then I'd go randos and then friends. But also I can't speak on friends. I've never lived with friends. I am so jealous sometimes of my friends who live with, their friends, and like they talk about their like movie nights and how they make dinners together, and it seems wonderful. But then you hear about like the bad things.
Right.
So I'm hesitant, but I'd be open to try it.
I've lived with like friends and randos. I lived with my best friend in school, and that worked. We got along brilliantly. Like, very wonderful living situation, because you hear so many horror stories about like, oh, they're your best friend, and then you live together and you're not actually best friends. Like, so were you best friends? I don't know. But anyway, so that was like really fortunate that we got along so well in that time. I like it. I like being with you guys. I like having you guys around. I also love living by myself, which is something I'm doing for the first time in my life. Not that I've had much alone
barely
time since, but
On the go too much.
on the go. Yeah, I mean, I lived with you guys for so long at home, so just kind of translates to this day and age today as well. I don't mind it.
I think I'd get very catty if I lived with you permanently.
Do you think you're a good roommate?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think I'm a good roommate. My worst thing, and I know this, and I've said this to my roommates, I do egg pans. And so I think we all have that in our family of I'll make eggs in the morning and then I'll leave the pan on the stove.
Right.
Because it's too hot, or oftentimes I'm cleaning dishes and I forget to look behind me.
Right.
And I'll clean up at the end of the day.
Right.
But yeah, that's my worst roommate habit, I think, is my egg pan.
Egg pan.
Egg pan.
You know that one friend who always has their life together? The one who remembers birthdays, knows what time the show starts, and somehow always has an umbrella when it rains? Yeah, that's Now Brief with Galaxy AI on my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now Brief doesn't have an umbrella, but it can let you know if you'll need one by providing the weather.
Every morning, it gives me a quick rundown of everything I need to know without me having to dig through emails or weather apps. If I have meetings, Now Brief reminds me when and where I need to be. If there's bad traffic, it lets me know ahead of time so I can leave early. If the weather's looking sketchy, it gives me a heads up so I don't walk out in a down jacket when it's scorching.
But here's where it gets really good. Now Brief keeps up with my routine better than I do. If I have a leg day scheduled, Now Brief checks my calendar, reminds me to grab my gym bag, and even tells me if it's going to be cold enough for a hoodie. Basically, it's like having a personal game plan for each day, except I don't have to make it. It just knows.
And if I'm wearing my Galaxy Watch 7, it gives me my energy score, so I know if today is a crush my to-do list day or let's just be realistic day. Now Brief keeps me ahead of the game, so I can just wake up and go. Disclaimer, Galaxy AI features by Samsung are free through 2025 and require Samsung account login. Displays daily select information from select apps. Some apps may require internet connection and or consent to access data. Personal data intelligence must be enabled.
But in the most important news, happy birthday, Dre, Adrianna. Today is not your birthday. Tomorrow is.
Tomorrow is, yes.
But the big 2-6.
Big 2-6.
About to be off your parents' insurance.
Which I've been on for a month and a half now.
Okay.
So it was a really bait and switch. I'm getting in all my appointments.
Nice.
Actually, I got in a lot of appointments on that last insurance I got booted off of.
Good.
And so I'm just, doubling down, honestly. Nothing like in 26 by getting off your parents' insurance. And I remember, Olivia, when you turned 26, I was like, that's really old. Just getting up there. And like, I made an Instagram post for you and I was like, have fun with your own insurance.
Yeah, that was rude.
That was so rude of me. And I need to apologize right now.
Why don't you look into the camera and apologize?
Olivia, I'm so sorry that I made fun of you and your lack of insurance when you turned 26.
Thank you.
Not lack. You were smart and you got insurance right then.
Thank you.
So I will be going on the self-pay insurance and oh my God. Oh my God, that's so expensive.
Spooky world.
Anyway, enough insurance talk. I'm so sorry.
Are you otherwise excited to be 26?
I am. It does feel, I think I'm maybe now qualified in late 20s, which is a little scary. 26, 27, 28. No, I'm mid-20s still.
Okay.
Damn, you had to count that on your hand?
What qualifies?
Well,
What comes after mid? So average is 5.
Well, I didn't know. Oh, stop it. Stop it. I just had to double check. Because I was like, maybe we're counting it. Because if it's after 5. Shut up. 26. I'm still in my mid-20s, of course. No, I'm looking forward to it. I used to feel so much like dread each year older I was turning. I remember especially 19 to 20 was crazy. And I was like, I'm no longer a teenager, like crying. I haven't cried for my birthday in a few years now, which is impressive. I'll let you know later today if I will be crying.
Keep us posted.
I don't think I will be. No, I'm cool with it.
Do you think you're settling more into yourself with every year you turn?
Yes, I think I'm very sure of myself. I do think that this year is going to be something that I've never really experienced, and I think that there is going to be a lot of growth, and I think I'm going to like explore parts of myself I've never, dived into before, and I'm very excited for that.
I feel that. I think 26 for me was the first year that I felt kind of like, weird to say, but like okay turning that age. I wasn't ever scared of aging, but there was something about that, like getting further and further away from your younger self, that made me quite emotional. And same thing, like weirdly, I cried on every birthday. Like, what is that about? I hear from other girls on the internet that they do that too. But I remember 26 being the first year, and I think I journaled about it, being like, no, I'm becoming more me. Like, I feel myself settling into myself. I'm still a bit nervous all the time, or not so, sure of myself and whatnot, but I feel myself becoming more that. And I remember clocking that on my 26th birthday, and it's remained true with every birthday since, where like turning 30, I was like, this feels right. This feels good. I didn't have that energy that you see in all the sitcoms about turning 30 and it being the worst thing ever. I was like, hell yeah, I think I was made to be 30. This is great.
I'm going to miss, being maybe younger in the city. I will say, like, I moved to New York when I was 22.
Yeah.
And how am I 26 already? Jesus. And I know 26 relatively is like so young. And that I've been seeing everywhere. It's like, guys, remember like Sex and the City started when they were like 33. I'm like, good.
Noted.
Good. I've got
Bookmarked.
time. But I think I've also always been very like, maybe not self-assured, but like I've always known who I am. And we had this conversation when we were in England of like, what would you talk to your or say to your younger self? And I was like, I don't think I would talk to like have amazing advice for like myself past like 14. Like I think I've always been like, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. Like I've definitely learned more about myself, but I think who I am and the foundation has like always been clear to me, luckily. That I just I'm letting go of like the fear of every new year and what that number may be.
That.
The best advice I think I've received this year is actually from my roommate. I was really scared to go on this date earlier this year, and I was like, we were in the kitchen and I was talking, I think maybe for honestly 2 hours.
Whoa.
We were going back and forth. It wasn't just me like hyperfixating on this date. And I was just so nervous for some reason. Like it was again a little like consuming me, and I was just like word vomiting. I was like, I'm so scared to do this, and like I don't know why I'm this scared, and like it's just a date. And she was like, just do it scared. And I literally was like, whoa, do it scared. And I wrote that, like I was like, hold that thought. I opened my phone and I like wrote that down. I was like, do it scared. And I think it's just a wonderful message for my entire year of 2025 and then on of, it was so good for that moment. But then I also had so many things at that time that I was so scared of. This is when we were really talking about starting this podcast. And, from where I was before of like, I was just living a very normal life, like had my little desk job and that was it. And knowing that I'd be entering something where I'd be viewed by so many people and like I'd have to put myself out there and like, lose the anonymity. I was scared. And so it was just a wonderful thing of like, yeah, do it scared. It's something that I still want. And although it's like scaring me shitless, it still could be a wonderful experience. And why am I holding myself back from that? And I'm just trying to apply that to like so many things of do it scared. And so I think 26 is the year of do it scared.
I like that. And like living without what ifs. It's like you did it anyway. Now
And
you know.
maybe even one day be less scared. Just do it.
One day.
One day. Even if you're scared, do it. But hopefully I'll get more confident.
Yeah.
And I think I do get scared so often because I still feel so new to things. And one thing I also want to work on is just, I was talking to Ilona actually this morning about like it factor. And like we were talking about models and just like how I think Ilona has like the it factor. And like the more I'm like in this like realm and like observing at like shoots of Ilona's, like you can see it in people. Like I've never been like that. Like I've always been like, I overthink and I change and I'm like I don't talk the way I would normally if I know I'm being observed by others. And so I'm just trying to like, I think embody like who I am around you guys, just around everyone. And like know that I'm like, just like stop holding myself back because I know I have like so much to share. And it's hard to like phrase, and I don't know if I'm doing it right, but doing it scared and becoming more outwardly and vocally me.
I love that. Well, happy birthday, Dre.
Happy
Thank you so
birthday,
much.
Adrianna.
Love that.
26.
26.
It's the best year I've heard. The hottest, sexiest year, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Dang.
That's
Only
what they're
down
saying.
from here.
All right, so no sister. How are you going to do that to me?
Make yourself comfortable.
Right.
Really. To everybody listening right now.
I can do a little ASMR.
No. They're
like
eating donuts. Those are
What do you
literally
want for me?
Little bite.
literally her
Okay,
birthday
a
donuts.
little bite.
Okay, have a smidge.
Which one do you feel most like drawn towards?
Probably the glaze.
No!
We were all okay.
No!
Just take a bite of the glaze. Don't
the worst thing you
finish.
said.
Or the one right behind the
You
glaze.
guys can all have a bite of it.
Just take a bite and then pass it to me.
Adrianna, how are you going to ruin your birthday for her like that? That's crazy.
It's really messed up.
Take a bite.
Back to sharing a birthday with my grandmother. Every birthday, I had to share a cake with her. that you learn humility quickly. For that.
Right. That's a toughie.
Yeah.
Man. I feel you.
But I do think sometimes she would let me blow them out myself. So thank you. Ilona,
Why are you eating it like that?
Oh, come on.
pass it to me.
That's pretty good. That's nice.
Oh, it's cinnamony.
Kind of dry, but delicious.
I feel like you need coffee with that. Now
How is
Adriana's
it?
taking a bite.
Be really quiet. Like, and now
That's a good glaze.
A bite of a glazed donut.
Nice donut.
Libby Dibby?
She's chewing it.
Adrianna, focus on our segment.
Dre,
Sorry.
Please introduce the next segment.
So there's no sister settle it today because there's nothing to settle besides settling in with a good book. And I would say we are all resident book readers, book leaders. But I get to talk today. So I've got two for you. I'm a huge fiction, fantasy, romance, novel person, books. So I'm first going to start on one of my favorite books that I've ever written that I read. Are you saying audiobooks aren't real?
No, you said written. Dog.
You said written.
Yeah, so I wrote this.
Eat
No.
your donut.
My favorite book.
I
Okay.
need blood sugar.
One of my favorite books that I've ever read. I read it at a point that I didn't know that I really needed it. And so it changed me and changed my perspective so much. It was Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton.
You guys love that one.
Love that book. And you're going to think it's so much about like romance with men or just romantically. And she does speak on that. But there's so much about it of just friendship and the love you find with friendship and the struggles of female friendships. And I read at a time where I was really going through something with a friend and she was experiencing the same thing in her book. And I think just seeing it written down was just made me feel so like assured that I was like, I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
And I think every woman should read it. Like, it's just so well done. It's so funny. It's so just quick. Like, I love it. It was also the book that got me to go back to therapy because she talks about therapists
Yeah,
and
she
like
does.
what it did for her. And I was like, I think that would be good for me. And it was great, actually. So I attribute a lot to that book. And I think you've read it. You have it
I
at
love
hard
that
copy
book.
too. Like, it's such a great book.
You can just read it in different phases of life and you'll find something that applies to you and you can highlight and mark down different lines and passages. She's a genius. She is incredible. And the first time I read it was actually listening to it and she reads it. So there is something really nice about hearing it in her accent, talking about, the structures of school over in the UK, which is very kind of different to what we have here. But it just makes sense coming from someone that's from there and hearing them read it and tell her own stories. And that book shook me to my core. I love it. And then I read it again recently because I wanted to physically hold it and highlight and read and like take my time with it. No matter where you are in life, it will speak to you in a certain way. So that's an excellent call out for Dre's
Love
book club
that
today.
book.
What else you got for us?
Okay, my fun romance one. And I'm probably so many of you have read it if you're at least reading, if you're on BookTok. And so I'm sorry if it's repetitive.
I'm nervous.
But I read this.
Ice Planet Barbarians.
No.
I love those. I love
That
them.
can be their segment. I read half of that book and I couldn't. And also, I refused to read that book because I was like, I don't need that on my Kindle. Like, I don't need that on my like internet history.
Boring.
And so, as a gag gift for my birthday, Olivia got me Ice Planet Barbarian so I could read it.
And you only got halfway into it?
Yeah, I couldn't.
I bought her a physical book, and she disrespects me like that.
I love that.
And then I was trying to give it away recently. I'm gonna keep putting that on my shelf.
It's
I'm
hilarious.
sorry.
Okay.
Regift it.
Someone will enjoy that.
Well, here's the problem that I ran into is that the bookstore I went to buy books weren't purchasing books that day, and I was like, I'm not lugging this back to my apartment. And so we were trying to find like a free little library nearby to drop it off in, and then we found one. We walked to it. The way it was inside a kid's playground.
Oh, no.
So I was like, I gotta hang on to this.
You gotta hang on to that.
I don't know where it is now, actually.
The gift that just keeps on
You
giving.
should have signed it. Like Adrianna's Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yeah.
People look
If
for it.
found, please return.
To
No,
Ilona
my
Maher.
book I found, I think, maybe during the pandemic, and it consumed me. It was The Deal by Elle Kennedy. It's a hockey romance series.
Oh, Adrianna loves a hockey romance.
I love a sports romance. I love a fake marriage romance. All of that.
I can't read sports romances because I'm like, that would not happen. That's
Yeah.
actually against safe sport.
Yeah.
The team doctor's doing what? That is really not good.
That's crazy.
That's illegal.
That's a lawsuit.
So I try reading these and I cannot get down with it.
It's tough. This one was sometimes when it's like they're in college, it's a bit better because it's not like I feel like I feel like I know less about like the systems for that. So I'm not like, oh, couldn't it be that?
Right.
NCAA. I don't know enough about
Literally,
the NCAA.
ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
this case, Ilona knows too much.
But I've read all of those, and then I've started to read the spin-offs. Like it's
What are the spin-offs about? Hockey?
their
still?
kids.
Their kids fall in
Yeah.
love? Adrianna.
It's multi-generational.
This is 20 years in the future.
Reading is a hobby
Yeah.
to a point. That's crazy.
No, and I will say, when I read those books, I was like, this is the best series I've ever read.
No way.
Eating it up. Like, I was like, this is entertainment. This is so good. And then I reread those sometimes.
Have I reed it?
I don't know.
Deal.
If
Have you read it?
No.
The Deal. That's not my favorite one, though.
Oh, that's the start.
I think
of
that's
the
the
series?
first one. Yeah. What's the one? I can't remember. The one with the Brianna, I think. I can't remember them. Because they all have like the deal, the score, the goal. So I can't also even sometimes remember the characters' names. I'm gonna be like, was it the Insecure Freshman one?
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And are all the characters present in this universe? Like you'll hear mention of other characters from other books in other books.
I love when they're connected like
No,
that.
and it's like that.
And do you love it? Or you're like, hey, Pookies, when you see your favorite
And it's
characters.
like they're in the relationship, and I'm like, oh my god, they're so happy together still. But what I was saying is, I sometimes reread them, and I'm like, ooh, this isn't what I told too many people about this,
Yeah.
and now I'm telling more people about it. But I think it's a good like entrance.
Okay. Into hockey romances.
Hockey romances, or just a
Sport
quick
romances.
read.
Okay.
You need something fun.
Yeah. That's how I feel. The way Ilona feels about sport romances in that way. It's how I feel about like office romance culture ones where like, I'm like, no. That's
Me
wrong.
with any pregnancy trope.
The hallway? No. I mean, the stairwell? No. HR.
Sometimes when I'm reading a book and you ask me about it, and then you read it, I'm like, Olivia critiques them sometimes a little too much, and I'm like, it's not
we
that
all have our own
serious.
taste.
She does.
I read stuff that you guys
It
don't
feels
like.
a little judgmental.
Sorry, you guys
But
judge my books too.
We also don't read the best books. Like I think Adrianna and I read. She probably reads the worst sort of books. I read also the worst sort of books.
I don't judge it.
She
but-
also will read like autobiographies, memoirs.
I read real books too.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I
name
have
the
my
last one
Olivia.
you've read.
5 Broken Blades. Great book, actually. I think
When did you
should
read it?
that a month ago.
Okay, fine.
Okay, fair.
Yes.
touche.
That's why I have my Libby app, and so whenever I get something off hold, that's my real book time.
What hurts for me is when I do read something that isn't considered like highbrow and it is like a romance, and I'm like, oh, my sisters would love this because they read trash. Like, and then they both are like, it wasn't that good. I'm like, what?
Which one did you really like that we did?
Sexy Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Oh, she loved that one.
Those books were so
Death.
good.
Tell them the theme of that, because that's kooky.
No, go.
Basically, right? Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, famine, what is it?
Pestilence.
Pestilence, death, and war, right? Now imagine that
Is Plague and Pestilence one? Because
I think it's Pestilence,
Are they
yeah.
the four horsemen?
Yeah.
Yes, Four Horsemen.
So Pestilence and Plague are
famine is one.
Famine, pestilence, war, death.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You get it.
You don't really look it up anyway.
Like those, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, but imagine them hunky, right, and handsome, and they're
Riding
here to destroy the
horses.
earth. Like it's an apocalypse. That's crazy. Except they fall in love with a human woman, and that she changes their. This is insane. They're like their quest to destroy, and they realize like love is real, and the human race deserves to exist, and they are so good.
It's usually after they've killed like one
it's
continent.
No, they're actively killing like,
thousands of people.
but they're not killing her. You know what I mean?
War beats her.
No, he didn't.
I
Did
guess
he?
doesn't. No, I mean, read at your own risk. That's some sort of stuff that the girls would love. Though.
But that's the kind of thing
I
where-
think I read 2 or 3 of them.
They were good. I loved them, but that's the kind of thing that I read that I was like, oh, my sisters are gonna love this. This is right up their alley, and they were both so judgmental of it. I was like, okay, Adrianna, I'm not gonna put you on blast for the shit I know you're reading, but yeah, what the hell?
I did read this.
You did read them, right?
Yeah, and I was reporting back to you. They got a little crazy.
Not really. Maybe I don't remember them, so please don't take my word for it. You know, if you go and read
This
those.
isn't an official recommendation.
This is not an
just
official
storytelling.
recommendation. I do not condone anything that happens in these books.
That's the main
remember
theme. Is
having
we
a
don't
good time.
condone these books.
They were fun.
Yeah, sometimes you need just like a little crazy book.
Yeah.
And we have much more for you.
Yeah.
Because already I'm thinking about so many others, but I don't want
What?
to share
Can you
them
give
all
us
now.
a taste of one? We both gave one here.
My series that I can read front to back
Are
over
you
and over
gonna?
again.
Oh,
What?
yeah, no, I want to know which one.
Billionaire Boys Club. It's these billionaires, right?
Right.
They're in a club together. They got like tattoos. They're all in club. And then they find their ladies. My favorite one, I could probably read this one once a month. I love it so much. And of course it's smut. He is a scarred billionaire in a mansion. Can't get anyone to love him. A lonely virgin. She out there ghostwriter. He sets up this scheme to get her to come to his mansion because he has secret letters in the library. Turns out he paid for those letters to be there just so he could spend time with her. And then a lot ensues.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying. I even read it during Christmas. I read it over Christmas again. I've probably read that 15 times.
You're forgetting the name.
Beauty and the Billionaire.
Aptly named Beauty and the Billionaire.
And it's from the Billionaires Boys Club.
one of those ones that I read that she loves, and I read, and I was like, what are my sisters doing here? What do they got going on? Happening upstairs?
I'm a little
They're gonna love the
concerned.
apocalypse books that I like if they're reading this stuff. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. She loves those, though. Have you read all of them?
I've read most of them, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. And later I'll get into werewolf books.
Not just
Same.
werewolf shapeshifters in general, right? It's a whole...
No, I've read some shapeshifter stuff.
I'm a werewolf purist. For me, I'm like, a bear shifter, that's too freaky.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I read Bear Shift. No ifs, ands, or bears about it. And I love that one. I love it. I love it.
I think I called Adrianna one time. I was like, what are you reading? She was like, I just had to put one down. It was about a mountain lion shifter. That's too out there. I was like... She knows like all the terms for it too.
Can I also clarify, I'm not reading those freaky deaky werewolf ones.
Why do you read?
Because there's levels to the werewolves. And I was raised on a Wattpad.
Right.
And that is very just like normal. It's kind of like you only see like the hierarchical. Like, yeah, there's the hierarchy, and that's really, and they just shift, and that's it. None of the freaky sexual stuff. But I just read the very like classic, like simple,
It's like a Twilight, not that way, but like a Twilight, like
It's like a
Jacob who turns
romance.
into a wolf and he
that's
loves a girl.
it. And they have mates. That's it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And
That's it, you dirty-minded
There's
weirdos.
nothing more.
You're a bunch of freaks.
Stop judging us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming over to House of Maher, a Wave original presented by the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra.
Be sure to watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, follow the show on social media at House of Maher for clips and behind-the-scenes content. Let's have lunch soon.
Like little sandwiches.
Little finger sandwiches.
Sandwiches.